35-7 here in Columbus. In that meeting, Terrell Pryor threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 2. Ohio State wins the toss to first. Marshall will receive, and here we go. From Columbus into the end zone for a touchback for Marshall. A.J. Turner in the backfield. Earl looking underneath and incomplete.
They need to get him the ball early in this game.
Michigan State and Louisville transfer. 2nd and 10 at the 25. A.J. Turner in the backfield. Earl underneath, and he hits 3rd down and 3 at the 32. Opening series for Marshall. Earl in trouble, bounces out of the pocket across his body. Finds his receiver and a 1st down. Already this season, both in the opener against Stony Brook for Elijah Metcalf. And they'll hand it off now. Turner running right, cuts it up. And he'll pick up a few. Wetting in the spring, but right now he's got the Buckeyes in front of him. Earl swings it out. Nicely done. Ball caught. Turner squares up at the 43. Over the middle. And a strike thrown complete. 1st down at the Ohio State 41. Opening series for Marshall. Moving the ball. Earl over the middle. Throws another strike. Another 1st down. 1st down and 10 of the 29. Canu has only been playing football for 5 years. He's 20 years old. Picked up the game on a fluke growing up in Munich, Germany. 1st and 10 of the 29. Here's another handoff. Houston this time with all kinds of running room. First play allowed inside the red zone this season for Ohio State. 1st down at the 15. Marshall keeping it on the ground.
And this is going to be a test for this defense.
2nd and 8 at the 13. Can the Thundering Herd pay it off? On the current drive, 9 plays, close to 5 minutes. Here's a quarterback run. A lot of room. 1st down and a fumble. Did it get out of bounds is the question.
Well, here's Earl, and that ball is in the inside arm, and then it gets knocked loose right there. That was Lathan Ransom who knocked it out, and he just couldn't corral it, and they didn't secure that ball before they go out of bounds. Not only do they not recover it, it is a 1st down for Marshall. They've got numbers in the run game here on the right side. They will go right here.
And they will let Earl keep it. Cuts inside, trying to bull his way to the end zone. And he'll get all the way down inside the 3-yard gain.
Including a good run on this series. We'll see if this Marshall team can actually capitalize here inside the 5.
2nd down and goal at the 1. They'll hand it straight ahead, and they will not get there with Payne. Earl with the handoff, the dive, Payne, and it looks like a touchdown for the Thundering Herd. It's 46 as Ethan Payne dives into the end zone like of a 4-year contract. Started off really well last season with 4-0, but then some things happened and they ended up sliding to end the season. That ball kicked out of the end zone for a touchback, but a flag on the play.
Good of a young player as I've seen in a long time.
2nd down and 8 at the 32. You may see him right here. Play fake. They dump it down in space. And here we go. Abuka with a lane. Emeka Abuka down the sideline with a blocker. Touchdown Ohio State, but there is a flag on the play. If it stands, 68 yards. 5-star recruit, was the nation's #1 receiver in the state of Washington, where he was a Marshall and Ohio State Thundering Herd. Will get it again. Jaden Fielding sending it away. Jordan Houston is the deep man. Into the end zone for a touchback.
And this Marshall team looking to get themselves right. I like this Marshall team on tape, and they proved it on that first series.
Earl will run it with a lane. Gets to the 30, 35. 1st down, out of bounds. Flag on the play.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's still 1st down.
So a 1st down and 20. Stone Earl to the sideline. That one incomplete.
Not try to do too much. We all have a chip. Many of us were at different schools before. We will not give up easily today.
Earl wants to run it this time. Nothing doing. Earl pulls it down. Wants to run. Turns the corner. That'll go out of bounds as he crosses the 20-yard line.
Players, high level round draft picks. You're talking about NFL potential.
Brandon Ennis, the sophomore, back deep. This one dribbled by Alec Clark, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the 24. TreVeyon Henderson in the backfield. Howard throws it out wide. Tate turns it up and gets across the 30.
Friend and mentor, Chip Kelly, to be the offensive coordinator.
Howard, sideline, another completion. 1st and 10 at the 37. Henderson remains in the game. Over the middle, and another strike thrown by Howard.
And then he takes off the fake and throws it down the field.
Howard again, this time the deep ball down the sideline, and it's intercepted by Marshall. What a play! Jordan Houston in the backfield with Stone Earl. Houston straight up the gut. Push the pile forward, crossing the 10.
Of the players that he's throwing to on the outside.
A lot of weapons. 2nd and 7 at the 12. Earl, back shoulder throw. Looks like a catch. Wow, Quinshon. 1st down and 10 at the 27. Earl powers forward.
Symbiotic there with that uniform.
2nd down and 1. Stone Earl bouncing in the pocket. Move the chains. Jordan Houston, the single setback with quarterback Stone Earl.
I'm telling you, the run on the left side is there.
And they'll run it on the right side, and it's there as well. A 1st down for Marshall. 1st and 10 at the 39. Quick strike, near side. Ball caught and out of bounds.
There's only 5 guys in the run box. You can block all those guys and run the football.
And they run it with A.J. Turner. Marshall has run 24 plays to just 6 for Ohio State. Gains 4 there, 1:05 to go in the 1st.
Here's what I'm talking about. You draw a line right here and right here. You only got 5 players for Ohio State. Between those lines, you got 5 offensive linemen. So you think you can block everybody. And what the defense is banking on is that their players are going to get off blocks and win their one-on-ones in order to make that stop.
59 rushing yards for Marshall. They're 4 or 5 on 3rd down conversions. They need 3 here on 3rd down. Could be the last play of the quarter. Stone Earl looking, goes through his progression. Underneath, has his receiver. And let's see the spot. This time it's A.J. No, make that Elijah Metcalf with the reception. He has 36 of the line's 47 career starts. 4th down and 1. Let's see if they go over him. Earl slips, falls down, will not get the 1st down. 1st down for Ohio State. Will Howard. He's thrown a 68-yard touchdown to Emeka Abuka. Howard throws it into the flats. This is Quinshon Judkins. First time we've mentioned his name, the Ole Miss transfer. And Joel, this young man is a bad dude.
Oof, I tell you, man, both of these guys can take it to the house, but there's just something. As soon as number 1 gets the ball in space, you just kind of hold your breath because you feel like something electric is going to happen.
1st down at the 34. And they'll run it. Judkins. Quinshon Judkins last week against Western Michigan, 9 carries, 188 yards rather, and 2 touchdowns. First year at Ohio State after 2 at Ole Miss, where he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 34 total touchdowns, and was a 2-time first-team All-SEC at Ole Miss. 2nd and 9 at the 33. He's a lone setback. Q breaks it back. Q down the sideline, on the move, dives for the pylon. And let's see, a 29-yard run.
Great move to the left. Watch here, Q goes in, here's the vision, bang, and now I'm out to the left, and you see that quick jump cut, and then he's so fast and strong that one guy doesn't generally get him down to the ground, he runs right past.
1st down and goal at the 4, they'll pitch it to him now. Far side, and he's ragdolled. TreVeyon Henderson straight away. And pushes the pile forward. Did he get in there? Let's see. No call yet. Looks like he's down at the 1.
Here's that opposite side. Henderson pushing, and there he goes down just short of the goal line. Nice job by that far side official, but good push by both the offensive line and Henderson. They're keeping that pile moving.
3rd down and goal at the 1-yard line.
Oh, first time we've seen this. Here, they're both in the game. Here we go, Henderson and Judkins. Lightning and lightning. Let's rock.
T formation, old school, wing T, straight ahead. Howard, all 235 pounds of him. It'll be a touchdown, but there is a flag.
Illegal substitution, 12 men on the field at the snap. Defense, that penalty's declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
And they're able to get in, and that's really their first sustained drive that they've had.
I don't know, Joel. When we sat with him yesterday, he may be taller than 6'4". He's a big dude. Play in all of football.
And in life.
That's what Dad say. Exactly in life. Punt it, kick it. That one kicked out of bounds.
Fireman, that was a great win for Illinois.
On 1st down, he's in at the 35. Another good completion. Metcalf making people miss at the end. This kid is dangerous, folks. This kid is a big-time talent. Still finding his way now at Marshall after transferring from Middle Tennessee.
He had 60 grabs last season, and him in the slot with Fitzpatrick, number 16 on the outside, that gives them some real juice trying to throw the football with these two guys.
2nd down and 3 at the 42. Jordan Houston in the backfield. Stone Earl wants to run it. Leans forward, trying to get to that 1st down. Ty Hamilton drags him down from behind, a 2-yard gain. Looks like he's a little short.
Here's what they're doing. You look one to the wide receiver, and if it's not there, he's running right away. Why? Because Ohio State is spreading out their defense, and there's an opportunity down the middle of the field.
3rd down and 1 for Marshall. Thundering Herd, surprisingly, have been able to move the football against this Ohio State defense. Earl sprinting out, throws on the move, incomplete. Metcalf, the intended receiver. Marshall will punt it away. Interesting play call.
They're trying to get loose on man coverage and run a bit of a pick route on that side, Gus. And so you're trying to get loose by inside player going to the flat quickly. That next wide receiver is going up and basically trying to legally pick his defender in man defense, and they just weren't able to get it done.
Brandon Ennis, the deep man for Ohio State. He signals for the fair catch. Bobbled it, loose, picked up. Marshall has the football. Wow! 2nd turnover of the 1st half for the Buckeyes. This time on special teams as that punt was muffed.
Any punt that is traveling right down the shadow, you know that it's just a little bit in the sun. And Ennis looks like he's got a beat on this. He calls for a fair catch, and it's just a touch short. The wind is blowing a bit left to right, but there's a flag down late. And they're calling a legal procedure on Marshall. I didn't see that flag, partner, nor did I even hear the announcement, but this is coming back. There's the recovery. Let's go back to that line of scrimmage. They're saying that there's not enough players on the line of scrimmage for Marshall. And I guess that they're saying, like, are they saying right here, these two guys right here possibly are not on the line of scrimmage?
So they'll re-kick it. Number 39. And it's fair caught inside the 15. 1st down and 10 at the 14-yard line for the Buckeyes. Judkins in the game. Quinshon with a lead. Quinshon Judkins with a burst. Quinshon Judkins, can he get there? Down the sideline. Touchdown, Ohio State. How about this, folks? The Bucks all queued up. 86 yards. Judkins from Montgomery, Alabama. Pike Road, a suburb. Prepares to kick it away. Jordan Houston, the deep man for Marshall. And he kicked it out of bounds again. Uh-oh.
he's going to remember that call for a long time.
And Marshall running the ball on the outside. I got to tell you, folks, he had me in tears.
I know. Hey, listen.
I
was saying yesterday, there's very few times when Gus is speechless. Yesterday was one of those when he said that to you, and
I was in tears.
Man, Q just said, listen, we don't get a chance as players to have a play called by Gus Johnson, and he wanted to come up here. It was part of why he wanted to be here at Ohio State, and then for him to have that play right after he said that, Gus, you're special.
Well, needless to say, folks, and I'm going to just be totally honest with you, Quinshon Judkins, I'm going to give him everything I got. He getting everything, Joe.
No, you know what that means.
I don't know if maybe he's just a genius. He knew how to get to me, but he's going to get it all.
Listen, I think he is a genius. His mom's a lawyer,
That's right.
So he knows what's going on. His mom, Tiva, father, Quincy, obviously proud. They don't miss a game, whether he was at Ole Miss or here at Ohio State. Maybe he is just smart. But now, here's what I'm not looking forward to. Now, everywhere we go, all the players are going to be pulling Gus aside, asking for nicknames. They're going to be like, Gus, all I've ever wanted is for you to call my title. Now we're going to see that every week.
I have no problems doing that.
Why not?
Because they have NIL.
So you're going to charge them?
I'm going to charge them all. $20. I need that 20.
Oh, my.
I might not need it, but I certainly want it. Second down and 8 at the 47. And they got it.
Oh, my goodness.
Man,
that's good stuff. In all honesty, that's what makes doing this, the human side is what's so incredible about this job.
Stone Earl, nice throw over the middle, and incomplete. Christian Fitzpatrick, the intended receiver.
That was Downs in coverage. Closing. They were asking for a flag here. Jordan Hancock, there's Downs. Maybe Downs was a bit early. No flag on the play, and it brings up a 3rd and long. There's the wrap. Yeah, certainly got to that right arm a little early. Probably a flag could have come out there, but now it presents an opportunity for this pass rush, which let's face it, we haven't seen much from this pass rush so far today, because Earl, whether he looks at his first read and then he takes off right away, and he's not allowing that defensive line to get after it.
3rd down and 8 at the 47. Marshall wants to throw it over the middle. Great strike by Stone Earl as he finds his man. I tell you, this Elijah Metcalf can ball. He is a terrific little player.
And you get the blitz here from Ohio State. What does that do? It leaves a void behind the blitzer. So what can you do? You can just run that slant right into that area of the field. Good ball by Stone Earl. He knows that there's pressure coming down right into his lap, and he's able to give Metcalf that terrific throw.
Makes it a 1st down and 10 at the 30-yard line. A 23-yard reception for Metcalf. Near side. And here's Elijah again. It's interesting to look at college football now, Joel. If you're a Marshall, every game, or for all the players, every game is an audition for another team.
Well, I mean,
it could be.
It could be, yes, but I got to credit all the guys that stay or find the right fit for themselves. That was the case with this Ohio State team. Yeah, they brought in a few pieces in the transfer portal, but this is largely a team that decided to come back and play for the Buckeyes. Now, Marshall at the Group of 5 level is in a little bit of a different situation. That level, there's always going to be more turnover than there is with the big schools.
Stone Earl throws it into the flats and incomplete. That bobble by Jordan Houston, just couldn't hang on.
And to be honest, Gus, as players, you just don't think of things like that. What you want to do is do your job for your teammates. Both of these coaches, Ryan Day and Charles Huff, have built really strong cultures. That's how Marshall has been to bowl games each of the last few years under Huff. They've got 2 Power 5 wins in the last 2 years. They beat Notre Dame a couple of years ago. They beat Virginia Tech last year. You don't do that without a solid culture, and you don't have a solid culture without guys that are bought in for each other.
3rd down and 9 at the 29. 7:43 to play in the 2nd quarter. Stone Earl dancing, in trouble, and sacked. All the way back at the 45. This time it's Caden Curry.
Watch how fast Curry wins at the line of scrimmage. I mean, this looks like a screen. He beats the guard so fast. Guard's blocking air. Curry's in the backfield sacking Stone Earl, and the Buckeyes get off the field.
Marshall punts it away, and this one into the end zone for a touchback. 21-7, 7:03 to go. Chris Carter.
They've had so many great receivers. That's the issue.
First down to the 20-yard line. They fire far side. Abuka turns it up and join them. Second down and short. They need 2 yards. First down as Howard finds Emeka Abuka again. Abuka has just been
playing for the Buckeyes.
Gained 28 on that play. First and 10 at the 44. Here's a handoff to TreVeyon. Henderson with a bounce it outside. First down, cuts it back inside.
Allowed the defensive line to detach.
Howard pulls it down, wants to run. Donovan Jackson, that left guard.
While they ran the football fairly effectively in that game, I don't think that the run game has been a strength of theirs lately.
Meanwhile, it's not a strength right here.
What question marks about is the right side of the offensive line.
On third down and 4, here's Abuka on the reverse, and he'll pick up a first down.
Pending what happens in the biggest games, you know, there can be, let's just say, a better fresh start for you somewhere else, and I think that's the case with Seth McLaughlin, who's very happy here in Columbus.
Inside handoff, maybe on Henderson, touchdown Ohio State. Jaden Fielding, extra point, and it's good. Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. And he kicked it out of bounds a bunch of times. That guy's name was Urban Meyer.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. First down and 10 at the 35 for Marshall. Remember that, JK? He's the same guy that did that and benched the quarterback that never lost a game in Cardale Jones. Unbelievable. Undefeated quarterback. And he'll stay on the ground. No room there.
Basically a version of Coach Prime's "We Coming," and he's backed it up.
Underneath, say he brought a lot of his James Madison guys to Bloomington. That ball caught by Braylon Brown.
A nice catch there and a good ball. And now you got to hurry up here if you're Marshall.
Third down and 1 after the 10-yard gain at the 45.
You know, Marshall and the ability of Stone Earl to run at quarterback, they have totally changed the structure of this defense. Now no safety, straight man coverage.
Earl will run it, trying to get outside for the first down, and he gets it. And the MEAC, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, first down and 10 at the 43. Turner with room. He'll lean forward. Second and 2 at the 35. And they want to throw it. Ohio State prepared and incomplete. Chuck Montgomery. Stone Earl steps up in the pocket, wants to throw it. Sideline, threw a strike and caught for first down. Looks like Braylon Brown. Might have been out of bounds, though. Yeah, he was. Stone Earl has been solid here in the first half for the Thundering Herd. Play fake. Caught. Another first down. Metcalf.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 92. 50, half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
I would think that this would be called targeting. You know, you can't even give that slight headbutt to the face of a quarterback like that. I'll be surprised if it's
After
not.
review, number 92 of the defense targeted the quarterback. Therefore, he is disqualified from further participation.
First down and 10 at the 13-yard line for Marshall. Can they pay it off? 12 seconds to go. Stone Earl over the middle in the end zone. Touchdown, Thundering Herd. What a throw and what a catch. And once again, it's Elijah Metcalf. Baller.
Let's see if he got that foot down in the back of the end zone. Does he get that foot down? Oh my goodness, that is close.
He didn't. What a first half. 10-play drive covering 65 yards for Marshall. They eat up 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Metcalf in the first half, 8 catches, 68 yards, a touchdown. For Marshall. He drives his ball out of the end zone. So Will Howard.
He told his guys, remember why you love the game, why you fell in love when you were 5 years old. We need to get some more turnovers to stay in this thing.
All right, Jen, thank you. First and 10 to the 25. They'll throw this one out wide to Judkins as he turns it up. How about Ryan Day, though? 45 years old, 6th full season as the head coach at Ohio State. Won the Big Ten title in 20 and 21. Big Ten Coach of the Year in 2019. Urban Meyer's offensive coordinator. I just think he's done. I know he's lost the 3 straight games to Michigan, but as a coach, he has done a spectacular job with one of the elite programs in all of America.
Yeah, but even if you ask him, he'll say like, hey, listen, I understand the standard at Ohio State. You can't have a bad day at Ohio State. You can't have a bad Wednesday, you can't have a bad Tuesday, and you certainly can't have a bad Saturday, and in particular that last one in November.
On second down and 7 at the 28-yard line, it's Judkins. Q gets to the 40.
How impressive is he?
Oh, man.
His balance and agility are special. They're elite. You see that as he's just running through all of these arm tackles. It's almost like he's running on bodies at times. He's just running right over people.
Same play, Abuka cuts it inside, finally dropped at the 45. Nice run after the catch as Jaden Yates makes the tackle. His dad played for Marshall, Jaden Yates. Around 1997, gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Judkins over 100 for the 2nd game in a row and the 16th time in his career. Number 1 in your programs and in your heart. Here's a pitch. Q. It's a 1-yard gain. Said when he came up to Ohio State for his visit from Montgomery, Alabama, played at Ole Miss in Mississippi. He said, man, it was snowing, and I didn't know what to do. It was cold.
He'll see that soon enough. Henderson back in the game. You know who's been quiet is Jeremiah Smith. He's at the top of your screen. You wonder on 3rd down, well, maybe they target the sensational freshman out there on the outside.
3rd down and 3 at the 46-yard line. Howard out of the shotgun. Here's Will Howard with time. Near side throw, incomplete. Tate, the target. Jacoby Henderson defensively, and there is a flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 10. The ball we placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
You know, Tate kind of gets away with this because watch, he slips. I didn't know if he was going to get back, but then there's the clear hold. There, I mean, that's as obvious as you can get. Both flags come in, and Ohio State, look at even Will Howard's like, what, hey, where's the laundry? And that's about as easy a call as you can get.
So a first down for Ohio State at the Marshall 47. Opening series of the 2nd half. The Buckeyes. TreVeyon Henderson back in the game at running back. Play fake. Howard sets up a screen. Near side. Caught. Kasmerick. Nice little move after the catch. I'll pick up 7.
How about the fight from Jacoby Henderson? He just had that penalty, but he's going to fight through this block right here from Abuka as Abuka's trying not to hold it. He still gets the tackle as he's just like half a man still being blocked and gets to the legs of the tight end. That's terrific effort.
2nd down and 3 at the 40-yard line. They pitch it. Henderson squares up. Henderson. Nice burst. Still on the move. Henderson. High stepping. TreVeyon Henderson. Touchdown. Buckeyes. 40 yards. And Joel, last year we didn't see that little pitch. That's a Chip Kelly, would I say? Should I say? play?
I would absolutely agree, and you're going to try to pull out that offensive line, but what you see here is just great vision from Henderson as he sees the lane. Once he catches the pitch, there's that little stutter step, almost baits the safety to come up into the wrong alley. That was Foster, 41, and then there's the stiff arm, man. Each one of these guys have the speed, but also the power, Gus, to fight through tackles and go the distance.
TreVeyon Henderson, coming out of Virginia, has always been a big play. Okay, folks, new kicker. Austin Snyder, Jaden Fielding. Got a case of yips, 3 straight kicks out of bounds. Snyder gets the job done. Marshall will return it. Jordan Houston will get to the 20-yard line. Here's a handoff. Houston. And Jordan Houston gained 4 on it.
So here's what's going on right now. Ohio State is testing their defensive front. 2 safeties back. That means that everyone can be blocked in the run front, and they're just going to run the ball over here against only 3 guys on that weak side. Now, the linebacker is there. That's Sonny Styles. Got to make the tackle. That one went for 4.
2nd and 6. Jordan Houston again. And he'll pick up a couple before running into the outstretched arms of Sonny Styles.
So then the defensive tackles, they've got to take up 2 offensive linemen, 1 guy, so that the linebacker can be free. That's what happens. Tackle does his job. Styles then is unblocked. That's how you defend the run right there. The defensive line is responsible for taking 2. Allows the linebacker to make the tackle.
Hero Canoe coming off the field. 3rd down and 3 at the 27. Earl, quarterback run. And he won't get there. Slipping again. It's the 2nd time he's lost his footing trying to run the football.
Yeah.
Job of trying to learn on the fly, and as we know, this is not an easy job.
There's no doubt. It's been fun listening to him, and he'll get the Cowboys again this week.
Fair caught at the 40-yard line.
To figure out what this team does best, and once he figures that out, they're going to be really dangerous.
1st down to the 40-yard line. Howard over the middle, behind his receiver. San Francisco 49ers, UCLA Bruins head coach. Wonderful mind. And talking to him yesterday, it was very easy because we were pretty honest with him. What are you doing as an assistant?
Was not a good fit for him, and therefore he came here to a place that he knew he would have elite talent and he could coach ball.
On 3rd and 6, they pick up the 1st down. Nice catch.
And he gets to call offense for an elite group, so he doesn't just have to jump at the first opening.
Judkins picks up a 1st down. Look at the running after.
Up there in the upper echelons in the entire sport.
1st down and 10 at the 29. Howard sets up deep all day to throw the football. Dumps it off and it's incomplete. Benches 405, squats 550. 3rd and 19 at the 39. Howard in trouble. And Howard will be sacked by guess who? Mike Green.
As a defense, that's what they called.
Marshall will get the football back. That one into the end zone for a touchdown. We told you about Mike Green. Braxton throws and almost intercepted, incomplete. Did he stay cool down there? 2nd and 10 at the 20. Here's a handoff. And it's Ethan Payne. So how about Braylon Braxton against South Florida and Houston at Tulsa. 3rd down and 3. And here he is on the quarterback run with some space, picks up the 1st down and a little bit more. 91 yards rushing for Marshall. He'll stay on the ground and not a lot of room. He's got an injury. And it's Turner.
They want to do something special. Now, to be fair, they haven't been great today. defensively. I was expecting a little bit more from this defense, but you got to credit Marshall for what they've done as well.
3rd down and 6 at the 37, and Ohio State trying to get to the quarterback. They don't. A throw on the move to the sideline. Ennis, the deep man. Alec Clark sends it off. Ennis with the ball at the 36, breaks it upfield. He's got some space. Tried to hit the sideline.
Yeah, we were all worried about Tyleek Williams.
Say he's a biscuit for being overweight. Over the middle, and the ball caught. Oh, here we go. The freshman, Jeremiah Smith. Touchdown. Ohio State, 53 yards. Austin Snyder in to tip the extra point, and it's good. Ohio State catches Marshall blitzing. Now, speaking of the blitz, did I read an article this week where you said something about Michigan's?
And they start saying things like, he's the best we've had at that age. You're like, oh my goodness. Okay, because you know it's like real.
And they've had some incredible receivers here with this Ohio State program.
He said, I will never be outworked. And from that age, guys, this is a generational talent we have the privilege of watching.
You are absolutely right. Jenny Taft, and some good hitting going on for Ohio State. Denzel Burke
in a program, and they're getting to see that with Denzel Burke.
Braxton just guns it at the feet.
Both collectively and individually, and he just notices a big difference with this veteran group.
They're caught at the 27. Ohio State is known for their wide receivers dating back to Chris Carter in the 80s.
Every single year there is an older player and a younger player, and the older player gets to mentor the young talent.
Howard over the middle again, and he's got his man. It's Carnell Tate.
What I start getting impressed with is all the times that the guys aren't catching the football. So you see the plays that they make. We all see them at home. There's a nice catch for Carnell Tate. But it's the things that they do without the ball in their hands that I think make it a special wide receiver room.
Howard dancing in the pocket, and he'll just throw this one out of bounds.
And clear out a whole area of the field for Carnell Tate.
Judkins. Folks, my partner, he's not only my quarterback, but he's the head coach and offensive coordinator, Joel Klatt.
After play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 10.
He's got guys like Garrett Wilson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And when they're older, guess who they have? A young Marvin Harrison. And
Howard, play fake, backs up, inside, drops it off, and out of bounds.
Won 2 Heisman trophies.
We'll get there. 3rd down and 5 at the 16. Here's an inside handoff. Judkins, not a lot of room. He'll submarine forward and get close to the first down.
Judkins on the carry.
It's a 4-yard gain on the play.
I thought it was interesting talking with Quinshon about, why he came here, but not just getting a call from Gus Johnson, although that's part of it. Also this idea of he wanted to come to an elite program, compete for a championship, but also the element of TreVeyon Henderson being here was attractive to him because he led the nation in carries the last couple of years, and he needed to take some tread off of those tires and share carries, and so that's why he's here.
4th down and 1, first down. Judkins once again.
I thought it was fascinating talking to him about his recruiting visit up here once he was in the transfer portal. And rather than getting a pitch from Ryan Day, what did Ryan Day do? Talk to Trey. And so TreVeyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins sat in a room together and talked this thing out and said, what would this look like? Speaks to the unselfishness of Henderson as well as Quinshon and what they can build here.
1st down and goal at the 6. Judkins trying to get outside, breaks the tackle. Look at that. Q, 2nd touchdown of the day for Ohio State. 48-14.
Man, the power. Another stiff arm. Both of these guys absolutely showing out, showing the electric ability to hit home runs, the power to run through tackles. This run game is going to be a problem, and it's a strong stiff arm from number 1.
Extra point good. 2 touchdowns today. He ran for a career best 2:14 against Arkansas while at Ole Miss. New quarterback in, Cole Pennington, the son of Marshall legend Chad Pennington. His first pass of the game.
Get some reps throwing the football against what looks to be still the starting unit for Ohio State in the secondary.
His father, Chad Pennington, coaching high school football, started a program from scratch. That ball thrown up in the air.
One of the best people I have ever been around.
Great smile. First and 10 at the 35. Randy Moss.
It's so good.
Brian Urlacher. From third down and 12 at the 33. Here's the run. And tackle made at Ennis, the deep man. This one kicked toward the sideline. They're caught at the 12. Devin Brown comes in at quarterback now for the Buckeyes. Back up. Kyle McCord's back up last year. Kyle McCord off to a great start at Syracuse. There's the throw outside, out wide. Leave the conference. Pac-12 still alive, though. They're getting ready to retool it with Oregon State and Washington State leading the way.
He's not playing in that game this afternoon for the Wolverines. He has completely retooled the USC defense, and they are a serious threat in this conference.
Far side throw, incomplete. 171. The record crowd, 110,045 versus Michigan in 2016. Number 2 Ohio State beat number 3 Michigan that day, 30-27 in overtime. Before the college football season, things will start to get a little bit more interesting for Ohio State. Next week, they'll take on Michigan State. Michigan State improved. Got to be impressed, though, with what Indiana's doing so far, folks. They're scoring some points down in Bloomington. That one could have lobbed up, and whistle had blown. Flag on the play by Coach Huff's team. Here's a handoff. They'll run it as Ethan Payne.
With what's gone on in college football, we're losing people to the NFL, and we need more guys like him. You know, when we talked to him, he talked about building a program.
Leaders of men. Second down and 13 at the 49 for Marshall. Play clock all the way down. Flag on the play. They get it off. They say in time. Moses Gray Jr. running the football, number 22 for Marshall.
There's Jaden Yates, I was speaking of earlier. He's a Columbus kid as well. His dad, Max, went to Marshall. Max was a beast. Jaden is that. He's got that in him as well.
Third down and 9 at the 47. And Marshall stays on the ground. Not enough for first down.
I love being around these players. Sometimes I can't believe they're college athletes, how impressive they are.
100% right. This one pooched. And into the end zone for touchback.
It's like so good, right? So little of everything.
I do know about this team this year. Don't bet against the Bucks.
Yeah.
Don't bet against the Bucks. They're ironing some things out. Coach Day, so positive yesterday, so focused, also relaxed. Still plays tennis. Get his workout in. Nice sweat. RJ, his son, starting quarterback for the second straight year, his high school team.
He got a big win last night.
As a matter of fact, he got an offer from Marshall already.
And Ryan had high praise for Charles Huff.
I think Michigan wants to offer him too. That's what I heard. Thinking about Wolverines. They need a quarterback.
Something tells
Let me ask you this question, Joel. How do you win the national championship and come back the next year with a freshman as the starting, a walk-on as the starting quarterback at Michigan?
Very carefully. That's a tough question. I think a lot of people are asking that question. I think even if you ask Sharon Moore at Michigan, they would say, yeah, we dropped the ball. I'm surprised that they don't have a different option. Part of that is the fact that they felt like Alex Orji was going to be something in the passing game that he hasn't been or materialized to be, but maybe that changes as he starts. Gus, I don't have a great answer.
That's why I like Ohio State, Joe. Because philosophers have defined integrity as a virtuous honesty and truthfulness, along with a courageous recognition of reality. Ohio State, very, very courageous in looking at reality, knowing they have to invest in their players, they have to invest in the program, just like they would in the science department or the liberal arts department or the medical department.
Yeah, I bristle a little bit, and I know Coach Day bristles a little bit when this narrative out there is like, oh, they just paid a lot of money for this roster. No. They developed great players and retained them through the legal means of NIL. Almost all of their NIL budget was spent on players that were existing in the program. Key returners like TreVeyon Henderson, Emeka Ibuka, Tyleik Williams, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, among many others, Denzel Burke. They could have gone, but Ohio State invested in them. I think it's perpetuated by those that don't understand.
22 million, right?
No, that is not the right number. That's the type of number that's going to be shared after we get done with the Alston case here in a few weeks, and then the rev share will kick in next year, lower than has been reported. What ends up happening is that these players, because this is a major market and one of, if not the biggest brands in college football.
Colorado will be interesting to watch the Buffs against Baylor, Utah, Oklahoma State, Utah first year, the Big 12. You know, Mike Gundy always has a good team.
And that I come out of this game, I'm like, hey, Quinshon, Judkins, TreVeyon Henderson in that run game, that is a problem for opposing teams. Like Gus, Texas, Gus, who we've seen, or Alabama, who we've seen.
Or Georgia.
Yeah, and so this.
Taking a knee, understanding they will live to fight another day. But what a tremendous effort by the Thundering Herd. You knew they were outmanned, outgunned, came in here, gave them their best. Coach Huff should be proud. Coach Day, his team, winning convincingly. However, things to work on. Kickoffs.
Kickoffs. Can you believe he kicked
three out of bounds?
Oh my goodness.
Let's go downstairs to Jetty with Coach Day.
Gus, thank you. Well, Coach, I know that you won big in this one, but still, I know at half there were some moments you wanted to focus on. What were your big takeaways from the performance today?
Yeah, sort of a mixed bag. I thought the offense was really explosive today, and the defense got some good stops in there, but we were just a little sloppy in certain areas, so we'll take a look at the film and get them fixed.